Hi, friends. Happy Friday. This is Emily with Anxious Baddies Book Club, and I'm here today to do a review on a book that I have finally finished reading. I have my notes because I needed them, but let's get into it here. So, I just finished book 2 of the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare, The Clockwork Prince, and this is the book that I will be talking about today. But I did just start the third book, Clockwork Princess. And so I am excited to get into that. I'm only a couple chapters in right now, but hopefully I'll have this finished soon and I'll be able to talk about it. But this episode, of course, will have spoilers because I have read the book and I am ready to talk about it. So, jumping into my notes here, um, I mostly wrote down stuff that just kind of stuck out to me a little bit. But getting into it here, reading the books, you pick up very quickly and obviously because they don't make it subtle. But Will treats everyone except for Jem with a certain attitude. He expresses disinterest in people, or at least he tries to come off that way. And he's just frankly rude and not a enjoyable person to be around. But we found out why, and I think there's always implied that there is a reason why he treats people like that, but it doesn't explain until you get into this book. Um, we learn that as a young child, before he came to the institute, that he had encountered a demon and his sister saved him from the demon, but the demon had essentially cursed him, or so he thought, that anyone that he loves would basically perish and die. Um, Probably not a very easy death. I don't think he quite believed it at first, but that night his sister had passed away. But that wasn't the curse. He finds out later on that his sister actually has passed away because the demon had stung her with his stinger. And so that's how she passed away. The demon had been trapped for years. I think it was up to 20 years. So he wasn't strong enough to actually put the curse on Will. So this entire time he was able to love people and he didn't have to be the way that he was. He does regret the way that he treated people. But that kind of getting off or away from that, something else that I have written down is that we also learn that the Lightwood father works for Mortmain. They find this out at a party that he holds. The invitation was found out by Sophie and was given to Tessa. They learn that Jessamine has been essentially spying on them for Mortmain, but she is going through Tessa's brother, who as we know by now, has turned against her and also worked for Mortmain. So Tessa and Will come up with this plan, just the two of them. They don't really get anyone else involved. So, but she turns into Jessamine and goes to the party, finds out everything that she basically can, comes back to the Institute with what she had found out. And with that, Charlotte is notified of what was found out, and then she is taken to, I believe, if I am correct, the City of Bones, where she is brought to the Silent Brothers, and she holds a sword, basically the sword that people can't lie when they're holding on to it, and get all the information that they can from her. Tessa's brother does find out that he was essentially tricked, and he does end up dying later on when Tessa attempts to get more information out of him. So he's no longer in the way and what have you. And another thing I have written down here is before Will can come back to Tessa and basically explain to him why he's been a giant pain in the butt to her and express his love for her, Jem proposes. He essentially says that she has provided him a sort of happiness and will to live outside of his illness. And so they accept and then they become engaged. Will finds out after he professes his love to her, and essentially he's heartbroken. And then later on, they announce their engagement at the dinner table, and then Charlotte also announces that she's pregnant, and that kind of wraps up the end of the book here. And somewhere in between there, Will and Charlotte have a little bit of a one-on-one. They both unknowingly, but unknowingly to each other, they think that they don't actually love each other. Like one person loves another, but the love isn't returned. And that turns out not to be the case. Henry has always loved Charlotte, and Charlotte has always loved Henry. But the way that their relationship kind of came about to be made Henry think Charlotte didn't love him, and also Charlotte thought that he didn't love her. So that was kind of a miscommunication or a misunderstanding, what have you, come to fruition and get that all cleared up. But they are going to become parents and they are excited. But that's what I have for this one. I rated it a 4. I did thoroughly enjoy this a lot more than I enjoyed the first one, Clockwork Angel. So I'm happy about that. But as I said before, I am starting on the Clockwork Princess. I so far am enjoying it. A little bit of a spoiler on this one is that Mr. Lightwood. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to mention. Earlier on in the Clockwork Prince, they learn that Mr. Lightwood has demon pox, which is managed by some sort of medicine that he's getting from Mortmain. But because he betrayed Mortmain in front of the Clave and essentially saved Charlotte from having to give up the Institute, he stopped getting his medicine, and the demon pox is no longer being monitored, and he turns into a giant worm. Yeah. Um, and my millennial self, who grew up watching SpongeBob, can only think of the giant worm that was trying to destroy Bikini Bottom. So, the seriousness of what happens in the beginning of this book was not taken seriously by me because, yeah, oops. But no, I'm excited to get into this one here, and when I finish it, I will be back to tell you all about it. But as always, if you have stayed this long, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. If you've read the books, tell me how you liked them, if you didn't like them, if you loved them, what have you. I have heard that I am going to be destroyed at the end of this one, so yay. But if you plan on reading the books, also let me know. I look forward from hearing from you. But with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will chat with you later. Oh, we're book club besties, lost in every tale, living 1,000 lives in a paperback sale. From the first word to the last page, we always want more, flipping